Hey everyone, it's JTB again. This is the Blade of the Archfiend video, part 1 for the survival series. Now, as again, first thing you want to do is get your combo up real high. It's really easy with the dual swords because their XY, XXX moves, you know, pretty much get you up to 20 anyway with the shurikens and a forward and a rotate Y on your on landing. So just do that in the first wave to get your combo up and obviously get your green essence as high as you can. It's really quite easy to do, as I said, with these, and it works out really well for me because I get my 5 times multiplier like before the first lot of them were even dead. And I could have got some OTs in here, obviously, but I just got a bit too happy pressing Y and ended up killing them all. So start off this wave with the UT. Now the main thing to note about the dual swords is their UT is extremely powerful. It's one of, if not the most powerful UTs in the game. But the downside is it's really long, so if you can for the first wave, try and get Windmill Shuriken UTs in as often as you can, because obviously they don't take as long, you can get much more of them in. Again with Windmill Shuriken, whenever you delimb them, whenever you behead them, make sure you OT their body, because you know you get the iframes, it keeps your instant kill and killing spree bonuses going, and obviously you get the OT bonus, and it staggers your essence as well, so it's extremely useful to OT corpses when you can. And again, this is just going to be just chaining UTs for the first wave. You can really be quite reckless with the dual swords because their UT is so powerful. You'll just decimate anything with UTs on the first wave. So I'm really quite reckless on the first wave with the dual swords. And some general do's and don'ts though for the dual swords. They've got an extremely powerful and cool-looking move, the Underworld Drop, and you'll see me use it quite a bit on the mages. But other than that, you definitely don't want to go for it. Like it looks really cool and everything, but you know, it's an extremely risky move to do because when the final hit where you lift up into the air, you're so vulnerable. Like you can get like flying swallowed and you can get juggled to death just out of that one move. So definitely don't do that a lot. And an extremely useful move that the dual swords have got is just their X hold down Y. The hold down Y move pretty much always beheads any enemy on the first wave, so you can obviously just follow it up with the UT. It's really good to use against enemies that are hard to stun, like the werewolves here. And again, just getting your Windmill Shuriken UTs whenever you can. And definitely take into account your combo as well with the dual swords. If you get too carried away just mashing on the buttons, I do it a few times. I just get too preoccupied with getting a high combo. You can do more harm than good if you've got like a really high karma multiplier, like you've only just got a few orbs. Definitely don't do really high combos because you're not going to get health. You're not going to get health orbs or like the chance of getting health orbs or anything like that. And the X counter is really good as well with the dual swords. It pretty much always delimbs anything that can be delimbed, and that was really good shit right there. My UT just didn't hit anything. But and here's an example on this wave. I get a bit preoccupied with just getting a combo up instead of actually going for UTs. But the one downside with the dual swords is they have no rotate Y UT. So unlike the true dragon sword, the gleaming blade is obviously a UT move. So if you've got essence, obviously you get like a lot of invulnerability frames. The rotate Y with the dual swords has got invulnerability frames, but not as much as the gleaming blade has obviously got. Another downside to the dual swords over the dragon sword is that it's got no on-landing X. The on-landing X move with the dragon sword is extremely versatile and useful in survival. It can stun people, it can stop you from your on-landings getting interrupted, you can take it into combos. The only thing you can really do on the dual swords after an in-air juggle is on-landing rotate Y, which is, you always want to do that because it's an incredibly powerful move. You'll see me get it on Genshin on the first Genshin fight, and the power behind that move is insane. And again, a good thing about the dual swords, their UT is so powerful. You can just decimate the Resetsu really quite easily, but don't OT him because he's worth the points. You get a really high kill bonus, but you want to try and get health out of him or anything. So when he's stunned, just rotate Y him with the dual swords, and that obviously applies to any other weapons. Now I get pretty reckless here going for Windmill Shuriken UTs on Garges when I'm at that low health. I could have easily died here, so I kind of calm down here a bit and go to more safer moves. Now you can just use the Izuna drop from that, obviously, but the XY, XXXXY, and then on that, like the downward Y move it's a 20+ hit combo. So if you can get one of them in, obviously you can start getting your green essence chances high straight away. So that's why I like using that move more than the Izuna drop. And the Pillbugs, again, exactly the same as before. Just use the Windmill Shuriken. Bear in mind your karma multiplier. If you've got a high multiplier and you're doing good for health, obviously just get Windmill Shuriken UTs in on these. If you've got a low multiplier and you're doing really bad, obviously you want to get your green essence back, and obviously you want to charge up a UT because the next wave is the Fiend dogs, and they're pretty much the same with the dual swords as they are the True Dragon Sword. There's not that much difference between them, but there's a couple of things that do make them slightly harder with the dual swords, and I'll get into that as I get to fight them. But I'm not sure if I show it in the first one, it might be in the second one. But a really good move to use for the dogs when you've got the dual swords is forward Y with the Windmill Shuriken, forward Y, B, and then on landing Y. It's extremely fast, and it knocks all of them, like it's a 360 attack, so it will knock all the enemies around you out the way. And obviously you can follow up with the UT or an ET, and even the ET for the dual swords is quite powerful. It's a really powerful ET. So, ultimate techniques with it are always good to get on enemies like the dogs. Again, don't be afraid to use the Flying Swallow. And unlike there, where it didn't actually register, if you do just the standard in-air Y move, then make sure you do the Y move again. I got really lucky there. I got stunned by an IS and then got suicide grab, but for whatever reason, the suicide explosion didn't do any damage to me. So, there's nothing wrong with getting lucky. And if you ever get knocked out of the air by an Incendiary Shuriken, always do an on-landing rotate Y with the dual swords. It's really good for knocking enemies away from you. Like there, you see it knocks them really far back, so you can follow up with the Flying Swallow and then go over to them and do maybe XY, XXX, on-landing Y or anything like that. X, Y, 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 the on-landing like 360 spin right there, that's a really good move to use, because it's, especially on ninjas, because you can delimb them, you'll probably delimb them in the air, and then that move will delimb them on the floor, and obviously if you delimb an enemy more than once, it will just kill them. So it is really good, it is a really good move in that aspect. Now I did pretty well out of these, I got quite a bit of health back, and got my karma multiplier up as well. I didn't lose that much time. So again, killing these while preparing a UT is pretty hard. You definitely want to take careful note of when you've only got one left, and pay attention to your kill count, like your number, your score of kills rather. And then obviously when you've only got one left, and when you've killed him to charge a UT. Same again with these, always target the giant mech first. This is where the Underworld drop does come in handy. I definitely prefer the Underworld drop on mages rather than the Azuna drop, because the Underworld drop, like the final move to it has got some good, it gets Ryu like quite a long way away from the enemies, and mages definitely like to surround you and try and catch you off guard in your recovery frames with your Azuna drop. Now, if you haven't got any UTs to kill the mechs with, Y is insanely powerful with the dual swords. It's one of the most powerful moves in the game in terms of just sheer damage that it does. And so there's the Underworld drop, and the final move, look, you backflip out the way, and with the Azuna drop, that guy probably would have hit me, but the Underworld drop, you get a bit more of a recovery. And again, if you get a Nimpo, always use it, always take advantage of the free Nimpo. Now in that aspect, I thought that was the last one left, so I went to charge a UT, and obviously, I wasn't paying enough attention, and I just wasted a UT on him. But I still got my green essence, and I still managed to charge a UT before the essence comes out, so it worked out pretty well. And this is probably my favourite wave with the dual swords, because the dual swords just really shred this wave apart if you can get a steady UT chain going. They don't really stand much of a chance. And obviously always make sure you wind path as well, if I haven't said that already. But whenever you jump, you should never be just dash jumping. You should always dash and wind path, because 9 times out of 10 there's going to be something trying to attack you, or there's going to be an Incendiary Shuriken in you. So you should always wind path, because wind path's got the initial jump of the wind path has got iframes, where a regular jump hasn't. And obviously press A in the air, so if you're near an enemy you can jump off their head, and you can get a good steady run of iframes there if you just do wind path and jump off their head. Now obviously these Fiend ninjas can be a bit of a pain in the arse if they try and, they're really long combo, that's going to end in the suicide bomb thing where they stick their arm in you and blow up, so always make sure you're away from that. Now for the zombie and mage wave, you can again use Windmill Shuriken UTs or regular UTs if you can, but preferably Windmill Shuriken UTs are a lot better. And that pretty much wraps up part 1, and this video is only going to be in 3 parts, because the same thing happened with this that happened on the Talons video. Genshin and the last wave got cut off a little bit, which is really frustrating. So I'm going to try and sort that out hopefully for the next video, and I hope you enjoy the rest, and I'll see you in part B.